Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great show for you today. Why? Because we have two great movie critics on the show, and that's Chuck and Pam Powell from Real Talk with Chuck and Pam. Nice to see you both today.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having us on.
All right. Well, let's kind of start off and see how did you both meet and come together with this team? Is it a he said, she said thing? Let's start with Pam. Let's hear your version of how the team formed.
Chuck and I have a very different recollection of the same meeting. I went to a screening at Lake Street where the critics go in Chicago for some of the screenings. And it's a small theater. I can't remember which movie it was, but it wasn't the one that Chuck says it is. And he's running late, and I see this guy rushing in. And so I move over one seat, and he sits down next to me, thanks me, he's very polite. And I said, "Tough traffic?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I drive in from Bourbonnais because I drive in from Champaign." And well, okay, well, you got me beat there. And we started chatting, and he was actually on a television station in Champaign at the time, and he was looking to, I guess, expand a little bit, or I don't know, try having another voice along with his, because there aren't many female critics out there, or there weren't at the time. And so he invited me to be a part of the show that he was doing down there. And gosh, how long ago was that, Chuck? Like 8, 10 years ago?
With that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a while. So the rest is history. How about your version, Chuck?
I was sitting for a screening of Tarzan with Alexander Skarsgård at the IMAX theater at the Navy Pier in Chicago, and you came in. And Jason, you don't know this, but Pam will talk to anyone or anything. I swear I've seen her have an in-depth conversation with a fence post. Okay. So she started talking to me, and then this is where our stories meet.
Hold on. Are you
She
saying
said
that you're
that,
like a fence post? Is that what you're saying? Is that what that
that's not what I
analogy meant?
said.
Oh,
So this is where our stories met, though. We did talk about where we were from, and I was hoping to start a half-hour movie program in the tradition of Siskel and Ebert, and it became pretty obvious that when you talk to someone right away, whether you have a rapport, whether there's a back and forth, whether there's any sort of chemistry. And it was just evident from the beginning that there was something there between us. And so it's a lot of fun to tell her how she's wrong about movies and everything. And it's a good time.
And I think that's what's neat about those reviews. I'm glad you kept on that tradition because I was raised on the Siskel and Ebert shows as well. And it's films are a visual medium, and you want to talk to somebody or hear their review on or what they liked or disliked from the movie as well. So you ended up starting a show, and where did it air?
Well, we're in Illinois. It aired on WCIA in Champaign, Illinois. It wasn't so much a show. We were just on two different programs of theirs. They had a lifestyle show, and then they had a morning show, and we would appear on both of them. Our efforts to get a half-hour solo show off the ground didn't quite get there. We were dealing with people who lack imagination, so we were stymied in that. We're still hoping to do it at some point, but as you know, Jason, the media landscape has shifted so much within the past 10 years. Doing a television show, people don't think that's viable, and there are so many things on YouTube and things of that nature that it's easy to kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Pam, did you want to add anything?
no, I think that's still our dream, or at least it's still my dream. I think Chuck would agree that we would love to have a half-hour review show. There's so many movies out there, so many television streaming programs, so many things that get lost amidst all the different things that are available out there. How do you sort through it? We have a hard time sorting through it. Just ask Chuck how many times I text him, "What's coming out this week?" So it is difficult, and I think that we would be a good guidance to help people find things. And I don't think there's really a good place for that. Siskel and Ebert that we talked about just a few minutes ago. I'll circle back to that. They were the place to go. They helped everyone figure out what it was that we were going to watch that week, or what we were going to rent in videos. So yeah, it's still something I hope will happen.
Well, I did see your YouTube channel, looked at the earlier versions of it. I love that opening you guys did at the show the different personalities of where you guys eat or where you guys read that type of thing. But what I liked about it, it was shown like at the Arts Theater.
Mhm.
And I think you guys promote a lot of sort of movie palaces along the way. Is that something you guys do, or go to different not only see the movies, but go to different movie palaces in the Illinois area?
We try to. I mean, they're not as prevalent, unfortunately, as they used to. If you go to our website, Real Talk with Chuck and Pam, that's REEL, Talk with Chuck and Pam, you'll see pictures of us at various places. A lot of them in LA or Chicago. Um, and that's one thing that we both are adamant about is going to the movies. That the film going experience is something that is unlike anything else. Sitting at home, watching something on TV with your friends, that has its charm. But sitting in the dark with hundreds of people, experiencing a film, reacting to it in the same way, it can't be replaced. So that is one thing that we do promote, whether it is going to your local Cineplex or, more importantly, an old theater that you support. People are going to miss that when it's gone. And I hope that the generation that watches their films on the worst invention ever made figures this out and keeps film theaters open.
I
Mm.
agree. I agree. There's just especially there, I think there are certain genres of film that makes that communal experience better. And I think it's comedy and horror. Those two
Mhm.
genres, when you see something in the theater, in either of those two categories, it just makes it so much more fun. I used to cover the Sundance Film Festival, and every once in a while, I would make it to a midnight movie. And those midnight movies were generally scary. Like VHS was one of the ones. And this unbelievable movie, Teeth. I don't know if anyone has seen that one. That was a midnight movie. Oh my gosh, so much fun to see with the crowd and just seeing the reaction. It just heightens everything and makes it more fun.
Well, let's say you are both different movie critics, so let's talk about the movie critic process. Like when you watch the movie and just right after it, or do you take notes through it? How does the when you or do you take a couple days and sort of reflect on it? Let's hear the difference, or maybe it's the same. But let's start with Pam. Pam, how do you? Uh,
Chuck and I were just talking a little bit about this earlier today about how we see movies, we process movies, I think, differently than, everyone else seems to. I will never be able to go to a movie theater or see a movie even at home and view it in the same way anymore. Do I take notes? I used to. I don't anymore. Typically, sometimes I like to write down a few little quotes that I want to pull and put into my review. Um, First and foremost, is it a good story? Secondly, is it told well? Those are my two criteria, and I'm stealing that directly from Robert Redford, who that was his whole premise. That's one of the reasons why he started Sundance, the festival, is to help people tell these stories well. Everything else is kind of like it's a bonus, if you will. Is the cinematography good? We just watched this movie called Saccharine, and Chuck and I were talking about how, this isn't a big budget movie, but the cinematography and taking the time to edit really enhanced the story incredibly. Is the lighting, production design good? Tell me a little bit more about the directing and why did the director choose to do this and why is the angle that way? How is the acting? I mean, there are so many different elements that all come together to create an entertaining or well-told story. So I think there are just so many different levels of looking at a movie and whether or not it's a good movie or not. Um, eh, every You really need to take a look at all those different elements to critique it, and that's what we do.
Hmm. Chuck, is that pretty much how you do it?
Yeah, I used to take notes, but then I found I couldn't read them
I
afterwards,
know,
so I
right?
don't do that anymore. You know, but she's right. If there's a good quote or something that you can hinge things on, I will write that down. It's funny what you said, Jason. You asked if we took a day or two before writing things. I wish that we could.
Yeah.
Sometimes they show us these movies right on deadline and we don't have time to reflect, and I wish we did. There have been times when I've written a review, gone back and read it, and said, wow, I blew that.
I
I
know,
was
right?
wrong. I didn't have time enough to really process things. Or we'll see it again and say, ah, I missed the boat on that one. So I wish we did have more time because, as Pam just said, there's so many different things to sort through. And often, and sometimes that first impression, once you really think about it, it's wrong. Pam and I have both mentioned how we'll be writing reviews, and every once in a while, as we're writing, my opinion of a movie will change. It'll go
Right.
from positive to negative usually.
Yeah.
So it's a fun process, but I wish we did have more time at times.
Yeah. And also, like, when we do the end of the year voting, and we put in our top 10 movies for the Critics' Choice Awards, and generally those movies aren't the ones that are nominated, but I go back through all those nominations and I watch them a second time because I really want to, did I miss something? Did I really hate this movie? Chances are I probably did. So I think it really behooves you to be able to watch a movie twice and to have that time to really think about it. And then Chuck and I talking about it. A lot of times he'll be like, "Well, what about that part of the movie? Why did you? Doesn't that make any sense?" And just talking through things, especially I think more dramatic films have those kinds of elements to talk through. That it's good to process things and to think about things in a different point of view. And I think that's what makes talking about movies with Chuck a lot of fun, is that we do see the world in a little different way. He's male, I'm female, so we process things and see things a little differently. So to look at a movie from two different angles, I think heightens it as well.
And probably a question you gotta get the most, I gotta hear it. What's one of your favorite movies? Chuck?
The movie I've seen more than any movie in my life is The Bride of Frankenstein.
Ah, there's always that thing where they say that's better than the original, and I can see why.
Oh,
Oh.
don't even get me started.
Pam, what's one of your favorite movies of all time?
It's a really tough question, to be honest with you. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have said Cinema Paradiso. And I still love that movie. I've watched that. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times. But every year I change. I get older. I see things a little differently. What I saw, 10, 20 years ago and I loved, I might not love it today. Chuck taught a really interesting class at the U of I, an Ollie class about comedies and do they hold water? So something from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, are they still funny today? And you see things a little differently depending upon what the political environment is, depending on a lot of different things. So I am really avoiding answering your question, aren't I?
Oh, you said Cinema Paradiso. I mean, that's good.
Well, Rush is one of
Rush.
my favorite movies that I think is underrated, and I love seeing it. I love telling people to watch it and to see Chris Hemsworth in a totally different way. And Crime 101, he was in that. That was one of my favorite movies. Was that 2025 or 2026,
Well,
Chuck?
it was January this year.
Oh, it was. Okay, so 2026, Crime
Yeah.
101.
Well, we talked about your favorites. What's the least one where you say just stay away,
Oh,
don't even bother with it? Chuck?
you know, we see maybe 4 or 5 movies a week.
Wow.
We see a lot of bad movies, a lot of bad movies. And I try to forget them as soon as I can. I really, really do. And it infuriates me when I see a bad movie because I think of the money that went out. When it gets to the point where I know I can do better, and I've never made a movie, and I don't think that's an arrogant statement, because films have become so incredibly dumbed down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many bad films out there. And I think that's one of the things that Pam and I do well is steering people in the right direction, steering things towards things that we think are good. Are we right all the time? No. But I think we both appreciate intelligent films and a film where there is an effort being made. We just sat through The Mandalorian and Grogu, whatever his name is. Greg, yeah, awful film. A lazy, awful film. And that's what bothers me, laziness. And there's much too much of it.
Pam, you want to add anything?
No, I
Movies?
think he hit the nail on the head there,
Yeah.
and I was thinking the same thing. We just sat through that awful Mandalorian movie 2 nights ago, and it just angered me that I spent my time. My
Yeah,
time is
Yes.
valuable to
that's
me, you know? And so to sit through that, the only good thing is we had said on the news show this morning is the fact that we hadn't seen each other in a few weeks. So it was cool to catch up and sit next to each other and chit chat through the movie because it was so bad.
okay. Not only do you do movie reviews, but you talk to ace celebrities and actors and directors and stuff like that through film festivals or junkets, press junkets or things like that. How do you do it? Meaning, are you starstruck? Do you have to kind of hold back and say, stick to the questions or anything? How's that experience? Chuck, you want to start?
Um, Initially, when we both started, yeah, we were intimidated and starstruck. But the more you do it, the more you realize that, they're just people. I mean, they're better looking than us. They're more talented than
Hey,
us, but they're just people. And if you approach them in that way, I think they appreciate that. If you go in all gaga and everything, that I think that's kind of off-putting to them. As far as being starstruck, gosh, when I interviewed Robert Redford, yeah, that was something, and Robert Duvall as well. I mean, those guys, and Kevin Costner, they're up there. And so
Robert De Niro.
you that sets you, George Clooney. I
Yeah,
mean, that sets you
yeah,
back on your heels a little bit. But again, these people, all most of them, with one two exceptions, which I probably shouldn't say,
great
they
thing.
make you feel comfortable, and that's important.
Yeah. Pam, any stars you want to bring up or?
Yeah, it was funny. We go to the Critics' Choice Awards out in LA at the beginning of each year, and Robert De Niro was there for The Irishman, I believe it was,
Mhm.
and I am super intimidated by him, and he reminds me of my father, and so I saw him at the table, and I'm like, "Hi, Mr. De Niro, you remind me of my father. Thank you. Bye." It was so
I have a
stupid.
picture of that moment. I have a
Do you?
picture of that
Okay.
moment.
Oh, how about John Lithgow? Woo!
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Most people though are wonderful. There are a couple stinkers out there. Amy Adams was so sweet. I'm watching her in Cape Fear right now. That'll
Yeah.
come out in June. And she was extraordinarily gracious. She thanked me at the Critics' Choice Awards. I'm like, why are you thanking me? And she said, without you, I wouldn't be here. So thank you. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's really kind of you to say that. No one else has ever said that. Thank you. So,
And I think the ones who struggle a lot before they make it, they've got their head on straight. Amy Adams being one of them. George Clooney as well. He's
yeah,
always been gracious and funny whenever we've seen him and I think it's because it took him so long to make it.
yeah.
I do want to plug, we're in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and southeastern Wisconsin, so CBS 58, which I tune in, and I see you on CBS 58 Milwaukee, as well as the Racine and Me as
Yes,
well.
yes.
Maybe you could talk about that shows and what you do on that, and let's hear all about that. Uh,
Uh,
Pam?
we are so lucky to be a part of CBS 58 Thursday, Theater Thursday, they call it. Every Thursday morning at 7:40 a.m. Our connection with Alex Cordetti, who we love, um, made this all happen. She made it all possible. And so we've been a part of CBS 58 for over 2 years. Okay, over 2 years.
Too.
Two. Okay.
Two and a
Um,
half.
and so yes, we're on every week, and we tell you all about two movies that are opening either streaming or in theaters. And then Racine and Me, that's every other week that I'm a part of that, and that obviously is out of Racine and highlights everything that's happening in Racine. And so I do the same thing. It's usually either Chuck or I on that show individually, solo, and try and highlight what people can see on their TV or in the local theater.
You mentioned that before, or I think she said something that you guys worked with Alex in Illinois years ago. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Well,
Hmm.
Yep.
as we know, she's a superstar on billboards and Emmy winner. How was it working with her back then when she was starting?
You could tell that she had something special about her.
Yeah.
Other than her puns,
I love her puns.
she's just got that energy about her. There's a go-getting attitude about her, and I think that's what helps separate her. And yeah, I'm glad that she landed up there, and I have a feeling she's going places.
Oh, she absolutely is. She is incredible. She is a lot of fun. I don't know what Chuck thought about this part, but in the morning show on Friday mornings we did in Champaign, Alex and I would always try and think of something fun or funny to do to go along with the movie review. I think we did cocktails one morning. We did Men in Black, something or other. We always tried to make it a little bit more fun, and I think her creativity is just, it blows everybody out of the
Mhm.
water. And I think that with her personality brings so much to any and every show that she's on.
Mhm.
So I guess the $1 million question is, when you give your reviews on the show, she says, "I'll see it and let you guys know how it was." Does she?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she
Yeah.
does.
Oh,
Wow.
absolutely. She'll shoot me a text, and I remember we disagreed very, very much on Barbie. I highly recommended it, and she let me know what she thought.
Oh, well. So one area we didn't talk about that I'd like to is let's talk about the future of the movie going experience. So do you think it'll be, 5 or 10 years? Or let's hear. I know that one expo they usually have where the movie theaters get together and things like that. Any inside track as far as how things are going with the movie theaters in the future?
Chuck?
Well,
I'm very concerned about it. Streaming services are dominating things now. With Paramount, if that deal is approved where they buy Warner Brothers, that's going to be a problem, even though they promise to produce so many films that are going to go to theaters. We'll wait and see if that's the case. COVID really shifted things.
Hmm.
It shifted things to where suddenly it became more viable. It was the excuse the studios were looking for to avoid the theaters. Because if you look at it from a financial point of view, if they could skip the theaters, they would love that because then they would take all the profit. I don't think we're ever going to see another 24-plex built again or a 20-plex built again. That's not going to happen simply because there's not as many movies being released. And when they are released, if they're out 2, 3 weeks, well, we're lucky. Um, I'm hoping though, I looked at things and I talked to my brother, he runs an antique store, and he says that kids come in and they buy Polaroid cameras because they like to take them apart and see in them how they work. Uh, Vinyl has come back. Other analog things have come back. So I'm hoping that the kids these days will gravitate back to that film going experience because we've just become much too separated right now in our society for a variety of reasons. And we need to hold on to those communal experiences. Studios would really help if they could lower prices on tickets, though. That would really help.
Yeah. And I don't think it's just kids, Chuck. I know when I've been doing a lot of traveling recently, and I'll ask people, what's the last movie you saw? I was at a wedding just this last weekend, and that was like an easy icebreaker. What's the last movie you saw? Everyone was like, oh, I haven't been to this theater in years. I
Mhm.
mean, really, that's just crazy to me.
Well,
I
that was
do.
COVID.
Yeah, yeah. I do love the fact that theaters are trying to, like, we have classic cinemas theaters around where I'm at, and they do a fun thing along with, I think AMC also does it, mystery movies on Monday nights, and the theater's packed. People are buying $6 tickets. They're not expensive tickets, but they're buying, all the candy and the popcorn and the drinks where they make the money, and the theater is packed. I have to buy if I don't feel like going downtown to watch something and I want to watch it in town, I'll go and take my chances on that mystery movie. And I've got to buy my ticket ahead of time because it is nearly sold out. That front row is not sold out, but the rest of it is. So, really ingenious concept.
I think you've hit on something. I think people want to go to the movies, but film studios and movie theaters are shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly. And I think the expense is the biggest thing. Hey,
Yeah,
I want movie theaters to stay open. I really do. But I have a hard time paying $20 for a drink and a popcorn.
yeah.
I mean, raise the price, get your profit, that's fine. But I feel taken advantage of. And they've got to start meeting us halfway if they want this to continue.
Right, right.
Well, this has been a fast half hour. I want to thank you so much both for coming on down, but we got to plug where we can see your movie reviews and insights. Let's hear all where we can see Chuck and Pam Real Talk.
Real Talk with chuckandpam.com. That's REEL Talk with chuckandpam.com.
Okay. And check out CBS 58, Racina Me, and also CBS 58 as well. So thank you so much for Chuck and Pam for talking to us today. It was just went right on by, and thanks so much for calling us today.
Thank you,
Thank
Jason.
you,
We
Jason.
appreciate it.